My name is Jacklyn Gostick, and I work as a commercial account executive in the small business department in the Port Elgin office, primarily doing commercial insurance and group benefits. I have been with Nicol Insurance since March 2016. I've loved working at Nicol Insurance. I've lived in the community since 2014. And again, it's the same as just working here. Like, I live here, I work here. It's a small town, which I'm not used to, which I didn't grow up with. So being able to be out in the public to see, right, my family, my friends, to see clients that I've worked with on a day-to-day basis, it's a great feeling. So I have my life license, which I used to do the personal insurance for life and disability insurance, and then that transferred me into the group benefits side of it with the life license. So small businesses, whether you're insured with Nicol or not for your commercial insurance, I can do the group benefits on top of that. So the group benefits is sold through the Chambers plan. You have to be a Chamber member in order to be on the Chambers plan for the group benefits, which is geared towards small businesses. Group benefits is an employee benefit plan. So life, disability, critical illness, extended health, dental coverage. It's just like any other group benefit plan that you would have through another carrier, but it's offered through the Chambers plan. So it's exclusive to Chamber members. So I have worked at State Farm Insurance before coming to Nicol Insurance. So that's working directly for the insurance company, not the broker. So when you work for an insurance company, you work for the company as opposed to the broker who works for the client. So a lot of the time, I worked in claims, so a lot of the times if there was a difficult conversation that I would have to have with the client, I would contact the broker to begin with because I would know that they would have a better relationship with the client. So I learned a lot about the broker-client relationship through working at State Farm Insurance in the claims department. So the difference between working for the insurance company as opposed to for the broker or the brokerage is that you don't have that client relationship that you have working as a broker. So with the broker, you work specifically for the client. You have that relationship that you need to maintain, and you become the middleman between the client and the insurance company. So you're really there to stick up and stand up for the client, and that relationship is not there when you work for the insurance company. Yeah, so I used to work for a big company, thousands and thousands of employees. So when you go from that to working for, a small type business like Nicol Insurance, there is that team environment. You know every single person that you work with and that works at Nicol Insurance. And then we also have that team environment, that family-oriented environment that not everybody else has. So when we have that team environment, there's two people dedicated to a certain client. That means that every time you pick up the phone and you call somebody, you're going to know the other person on the other line. I would say the part of the job that I enjoy the most is that relationship building, being able to talk to clients, learn about their businesses, learn about their needs, what you can do to help the business grow and thrive. That's pretty much the most rewarding part of the job. So what sets Nicol Insurance apart from other insurance providers is that you have those specific people that you can talk to, which makes a big difference when you're getting an insurance policy. If you go to a direct writer like, TD, then you're talking to somebody over the phone, you're putting a policy in place right there. You don't necessarily understand everything that's going into the policy, and that's why the broker is there for you, to explain the coverages, to explain why you need certain coverages and why you might not need certain coverage if it's not for your business. Specifically for client relationships, I think, again, because it is small town, you know a lot of the people before you even start to work with them on the insurance perspective. So, you know their ins and outs, you know their day-to-day. So I do have clients that I'll visit after hours. If I know they own a bakery that they are open from 7 a.m. to 4 o'clock, I'll go over there at 4 o'clock when I know that they're shutting down, just to make their lives easier. Because again, you know the ins and outs of their business, and you also know them on a personal level, and you know kind of their commitments that they have to do after the job. A good insurance policy is something that covers you for what you need to be covered for. There was a question before about like good or bad insurance. So there is such thing as a good and a bad insurance policy, in my opinion. A bad policy doesn't provide you with the coverage that you need. The whole reason why insurance policy is there is to cover you in case of a claim, right? You don't want to have any financial loss to yourself or to your business. So you need to have good coverage. You need to have proper coverage. If you don't have enough, that's when it results in financial loss. The most rewarding part of my job, I think, is helping people, helping businesses, especially with group benefits. You have a lot of employees right now, just the way things are going, the way times are going, employee retention is a really hard thing to do. So when you put that benefit package in place, you see the employees that are rewarded from it, you see the employers that get rewarded from it, and then in turn, obviously I get rewarded from it too. So. The reason I chose to enter the insurance industry, so I grew up in an insurance family. My dad was a director underwriting at BMO Insurance. My mom was also a supervisor at Aegon Insurance and Claims. So I grew up learning about insurance. I know insurance. When I worked at State Farm, I kind of got a really good handle on how to deal with policies and how to deal with the background of when the insurance steps into place working in claims. So I feel like that, and then becoming a broker after that, made me really knowledgeable about insurance policies as a whole. It's a great place to work. They're flexible, they're family-oriented, they're great, they take care of their employees, and then the relationships that you get to build. Again, working in a small town, it's nice to live in a small town, but it's also nice to actually be a part of that small town and to do something that you feel like makes a difference. So whether it comes, like in the Port Elgin office, they do personal insurance for home and auto, we do commercial insurance, we do group benefits, so we kind of touch upon any aspect of insurance that you could need. And again, small town living, a lot of the businesses there are small businesses that need this kind of insurance. I think when people call into Nicol Insurance, call into a broker, they're expecting to talk with, especially if they don't have a policy in place, they're expecting to talk with somebody who wants to sell them, you know, the most expensive policy, which is not the case, right? Like my job is to talk to the people to understand their businesses, understand what they need. If it's employee benefits, I talk about what do their employees need, what do they want as far as a benefit package goes to help them. So the goal is not to sell them the most expensive coverage, which I think is misleading, and what people think when they call a brokerage is that they're just going to get, you know, upsold into the highest possible coverage, which is not the case. We learn about them, we cater a policy to meet their needs, so they're only paying for something that they need in the long run. The one thing I think that sets Nicol Insurance aside from other agencies and other brokerages is that it doesn't have a call center environment, and I'm sure other people have said this as well, but it's not a call center, right? You call in and you talk to somebody that knows your policy in and out. So when you first come into an area and you're first putting a policy in place, yes, you're meeting, you know, your agent, your broker for the first time, but then throughout the years, they know you very well, right? If you have a son or daughter that get their license, they become that broker that writes their policies for their auto insurance. If they buy a house in the future, they're the ones that become that broker that write their house insurance. So it's something that we see clients start out with us, and then we see clients stay with us. It's one of those things where you can do, again, home and auto insurance for a parent, and then 16 years later, you do the same thing for their kid. I think cyber coverage is one of those things that's new. We see a lot of people not have the coverage, or it's included on a quote and they don't want it, but that's one of those things that we kind of have to talk to clients about to get them to understand why it's important that they have it. Technology is growing, it's always growing, it's never going to stop growing. So I think cyber coverage is one of those things that we actually need to sit down with people and explain to them, especially business owners, to let them know, you know, what they can suffer as a financial loss if they do have a cybercrime involved. Yeah, so for cyber coverage, it's one of those things where if you have employees, say, that bring laptops off premise, right? They expose themselves to being hacked technically by somebody else that can take personal information from clients, it can take personal information from the actual workplace itself. So when you have that cyber coverage, it protects you against having that done, right? The financial loss that comes with that. So the lawyers that are involved with it, the lawsuits, the replenishing client information, that sort of thing. So having that coverage really protects people from having that loss. So Nicol Insurance is the exclusive advisor for a lot of local chambers in the area. So the Saugeen Shores Chamber, the Owen Sound Chamber, Grey Highlands Chamber. There's about 16, 17 different chambers that we're the exclusive advisor for, specifically me selling group benefits to employers, mainly small businesses, but you can also be self-employed, you can be a farmer. There's a lot of ways that I can go about it. But you do have to be a chamber member in order to be a part of the chamber's plan. So the chamber's plan is an exclusive benefit plan to chamber members only that offer life, disability, critical illness, extended health, dental coverage for employees. And we are seeing a lot of employers reach out to us recently because there has been an issue with employee retention, and they're just trying to figure out a way to make their employees happy, make them stay, offer them a package, that will see the value of working for that small business particularly. So as the advisor that sells the chamber's plan for Nicol Insurance, I do go over in detail with a lot of employers, the benefits of a benefit package to put in place for the employees, and then we kind of go through the coverages of what they think would be most beneficial for their employees.